So, Memo, Premier League has started, match day 4. You as a Liverpool supporter, let me ask you this. With the signings that they brought, well, they didn't really have any signings, but where do you see Liverpool finishing this season?
Juanito.
Whether it's Premier League or Champions League.
Okay, let's talk about Premier League.
All right.
Ya sabes que la Liga Premier, I mean, it's been really, it got super competitive. I mean, this season obviously is now super competitive. You have, I think there's 4 teams.
Yep.
El que gane de esos 4, no me sorprendería.
Right.
Está Chelsea, está Manchester City, está Manchester United, obviously, con Ronaldo, que acaban de agarrar a Ronaldo, a Varane, a Sancho.
Yep.
Y está Liverpool.
Liverpool. Uh-huh.
Liverpool.
Never walk alone or what?
Yeah. Entonces, with Liverpool, el único refuerzo que trajeron fue a Konate, un defensa central, youngster.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. Tiene buena, o sea, he's fast, buenas habilidades, todo. Pero regresó Van Dijk, regresó Joe Gomez, regresó Matip, and having Konate, he's, you know, regresa lo que es ahora sí la espina dorsal de Liverpool, ¿no? Like we know, obviously, last season, pues, las lesiones, todo.
Right.
It was
brutal.
It was brutal. Entonces, la temporada pasada con lesiones en Liverpool y terminando en tercer lugar en la Premier League fue un éxito, fue una temporada exitosa de cierta manera por todas las circunstancias por las que pasó, ¿no? Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Matip, todos casi, you know, most of the season terminaron.
Y hasta con eso todavía acabaron en segundo lugar,
Tercero.
¿no? Tercero.
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, because United.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you put the whole circumstance and everything, like, you kind of like, okay, that was a successful season based on everything. So now this season, todos regresan.
Ajá.
Sé que no hay muchos refuerzos. Lo sé. I wish we would have had, like, you know, back and forward, like, or somebody that can kind of push the front 3. But in all that, I do see Liverpool competing for the title.
Who was their biggest pickup, really? Other than, like, people getting people from injury back?
So Konate, I think
that was probably it, right?
Yeah. So the only the only signing that they have is Konate, Ibrahim Konate, the French guy. But again, they got a center back, and they got signing in a position that's kind of already taken care of in a way.
Yeah.
But it's nice, obviously, to have like those options because, you know, like I said, he's a youngster with a great future, and he's got great abilities. He's a great center back too, you know.
Sí.
He proved it with Leipzig. Entonces, de esa temporada, regresando Van Dijk, regresa Van Dijk, eso le permite a Fabinho jugar donde su posición, o sea, uno de los mejores medios defensivos del mundo.
Sí.
La neta es de los mejores.
¿Cuántos años tiene?
He's young. He's like 25, 26 maybe.
Okay.
He's going to be in his prime.
Right.
Or if he's not in his prime, he's going to be in his prime.
Right.
Anyway, point being, 27.
27. Uh-huh.
Point being, I do see Liverpool competing for the title.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to win it? I hope so.
Put the mic a little closer. Yeah.
I hope so.
There you go.
I hope they will win it. But it's going to be hard. It's hard to predict. As you know, we did a quiniela. We did, you know, obviously.
Hey, don't say that out loud. Eh? It wasn't for money. It was not betting. It was not gambling. But anyway. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all good. So, yeah, I mean, I do see Liverpool competing for the title. I think having the players back, como te mencionaba, I mean, sé que todos se reforzaron, o sea, usualmente Chelsea, Manchester City, Man United. Obviously, Man City got Grealish. Man United, Ronaldo, like we said, Sancho, Varane. Man City, Grealish, Chelsea, Lukaku's back. Saúl Ñíguez from Atletico también, o sea, dices, agarraron jugadores, and obviously Chelsea won the Champions League.
Yeah.
So, they're a good team. Tuchel. 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 I don't know how to pronounce it, but with him, like, he's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's proved it, obviously. So
I told you, I think Chelsea's gonna take it. I mean,
and
I'm kind of supporting Liverpool because of you, whatever. But like, to me, City's gonna drop, and then you have the three other teams that are just gonna go above them, in my opinion, on the table at the end of the season. Pero, sorry, go ahead. I just think Chelsea's that much stronger.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I mean, el que gane de los cuatro, no me sorprendería.
Yeah,
I think they're all like, obviously, some are probably a little bit more favorites than others. I think Chelsea and Man City, to me, are kind of like the favorites. Mm-hmm. But I do see Liverpool competing. I do see Liverpool, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool win it because they proved.
I wouldn't be either. Yeah,
they proved before last season with the squad that they have, like the consistency. They were consistent for 2 seasons in a row with the same squad,
right.
And now this season, like the whole squad's back, so the chemistry is just getting more chemistry out of like in that team. Like the good thing about Liverpool is that the squad is like the squad is there. Like not key players haven't really left. I mean, Wijnaldum left, and but that was a huge player that left, but it's not a key player. It's not a Van Dijk. It's not Alisson. It's not Fabinho. Yeah. It's not one of the front three. So yes, it's key. But then Wijnaldum leaves, but then you still have Thiago there, and then Curtis Jones, who's kind of youngsters coming. Harvey Elliott, who I told you, like players that are young, upcoming, and they're playing well. So I'm not saying there's the Wijnaldum already, but you still have the center mid, and kind of taken care of. So yeah, I mean, I think they're going to compete.
Putting your money on it, if you were to call it, putting your money on it, where does Liverpool finish in the Premier League at the end of the season? Do they win the title again? Do they drop from last season to 4th? No. If you had money on it,
if I had
not
money
hard
on it,
money.
Okay. I would say they'll finish. Like I'm gonna go for it, and I think they're gonna win it.
Okay.
But if they don't win it, I don't see them getting less than 3rd.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna get the 4th. Mm-hmm. I think it's either to me, I would say it's 1st or 2nd. I'm gonna say 1st or 2nd because I see the team, and I'm like, dude, these guys, like, they're back. And I was like, okay, like it's not obviously, and if injuries and all, like if you have one of the seasons, then anything can change.
Yeah,
anything can change throughout the season because sometimes you have the injuries or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the things too it's going to be interesting is the Africans Cup is coming, so that's going to be kind of huge for Liverpool. Yeah. That's going to be a period where it's going to be really testy for Liverpool because Salah is going to be gone, Mane is going to be gone, and I mean Naby Keita's probably most likely going to be gone.
Matip.
So Matip, no, he's not. He doesn't. He does. I think he retired from international duties. So,
but still.
But even if Matip goes, you have Joe Gomez and Konate, who, like I said.
But like you mentioned,
then if Salah and Mane
and Salah,
who are you gonna replace them with?
It's like your main.
Exactly. Like I mean, you have Jota, Firmino there, and then Oxlade, Chamberlain, Divock Origi, but they're not Salah or Mane.
Yeah, no.
So we kind of hope that.
Your hope is that
at least one of them kind of comes back earlier than the other.
Well, what I was gonna say is like come January or it's in January, right?
Yeah.
February, January. Come that time, your hope is that obviously they're competing in the top 4, but also in great form, so that the replacements can come in and just step in, and they're playing well that it doesn't matter that they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So
that's kind of
your hope that they're in good form.
Yeah, I mean that there's no injuries obviously, but that, like you say, that they're coming. That when that period comes, que todos estén jugando bien. O sea, que vengan en un buen momento, que estén agarrando momento y todo eso, para cuando ellos se vayan, o sea, que el resto del equipo también esté jugando bien, ¿ok? Sí. Que si viene Jota y todo, o sea, Jota o You know, like I said, there's a young like Harvey Elliott también. Va a estar Minamino, que lo están utilizando mucho de delantero. También está Divo Corigi, como ya sabemos, es el que siempre está ahí.
We talked about this, outside of this, but and I think we talked about Curtis Jones. I like Curtis Jones. I just like how he plays and stuff. Why are you not? It's when I discussed this with you, it seemed like you weren't that much of a fan of him as opposed to some of the other youngsters. I think you had mentioned something about him not being really providing as many goals as you might have liked. But what if he's just not a goal scorer? What if his duty is just more of a defensive mid type?
The way I see him, he may not be like a goal scorer, but like Curtis Jones, he's good. I like the way I like him on the ball. You know, on the ball he's good. He's really good on the ball. Like he hardly, from what I've seen him play, you know, the games that he's played and all that stuff, like he can protect the ball. You know, he's not really clumsy on the ball or, you know. But I think like Liverpool like in this moment, like, you know, Liverpool already has those midfielders. Liverpool already has Henderson. Liverpool has you know, Thiago and obviously Fabinho's a center mid, like the defensive mid. But I think I'm more excited about Harvey Elliott because he provides kind of that edge. You know, he can provide with assists or he can provide with goals. You know, he's that player. I think he's naturally a winger, but with Liverpool he's been playing as like that attacking mid, and providing kind of like, you know, that opportunities to the team. You know, he's creating. He's like a creative, you know, midfielder. Curtis, he's good. He's good on the ball and all, but I think his speed is not, you know, he's a little bit not that fast. But I like him on the ball. You know, I think he's good on the ball, but more excited about Harvey Elliott, that's for sure.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning Harvey Elliott. That's the player I was thinking about.
Yeah, he actually had se fue de préstamo with Blackburn. La rompió in Blackburn, so se lo trajeron para acá. He's actually been playing like the games, like this 4 matches that's already been. 3 because tomorrow they play. He's been starting. He's been playing more. Like Thiago hasn't been playing. Like Harvey Elliott's the one that's been like playing. You know, he's in a way you can say he's benching Thiago or like the other center mid. So I mean that just kind of tells you something, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean he's been playing well. He's been doing good, and I'm more excited about him. So if at the end of the day, bottom line, if you tell me where's Liverpool gonna finish, I'm gonna say champions or second place. That's I think I see them. If they finished third last season, I see them kind of getting better this season, especially like I said, all the injuries coming back. And I mean, you could argue that Chelsea got Lukaku and Saúl Ñíguez, and Man City got Grealish, Man United got Ronaldo, Sancho, and Varane. With United, I do kind of see something like they got obviously Ronaldo. Having Ronaldo kind of already puts you as a contender, you know.
He's gonna play striker, based on the formation because they're not gonna want to change formation. But as of today's recording, they played today and they beat Newcastle. He scored 2 goals, but he was playing striker. They're still playing the same formation, 4-2-3-1. So it'll be interesting. Now that then we can get into it in another video, but it'll be interesting to see how Cristiano ends his career as a striker.
Yeah,
which we're not really used to seeing, right? Maybe with Madrid and Juve, he played maybe a handful of times at that position.
I mean, he's a goal scorer, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, he's a goal scorer.
Exactly.
So he's playing a different position, but he's still scoring.
He'll fit
goals.
in.
Yeah, exactly. He's like.
Speaking of formation, right before we end this video, and since the topic's on Liverpool, they're still in a 4-3-3, right? Yeah. That's their main. Do you see them needing to change that formation?
I think Liverpool needs to experiment more. Yeah. I think sometimes they get stuck with the 4-3-3, and I think last season they had trouble with that. Like, because I think they get stuck with this formation that it's kind of lacking in a way. Like, breaking teams down. You know, like they sometimes having this formation, like they play kind of a certain way that sometimes I feel like teams have already figured them out.
Yeah.
And, you know, for them to change it, it's hard for them to change.
Right.
And I think if they were able to experiment more and, like, you know, change formation, they could kind of surprise teams more when it's hard to break them down. Like, you know, especially the teams que como dicen, like, you know,
park the bus,
o
counter.
Exactamente, que nomás están esperando al contragolpe. You know? So, con ese tipo de equipos, a veces Liverpool pues tiene la posesión, tienen que llegar, todos tienen que crear, pero a veces les hace falta esa creatividad. Y creo que también tienen que experimentar un poco más en cuanto a las formaciones. Me gustaría ver un 4-2-3-1 con, o sea, Fabinho y Henderson o Fabinho y Thiago, o sea, como de contenciones para, o sea, controlar lo que es en sí la media. Fabinho a lo mejor un poquito más retrasado de Thiago y Thiago así como controlando toda la media. Me gustaría ver lo que es, o sea, tener a Salah. I think Salah would be the best striker.
With the current squad, and that's what I was going to say, like, the downside about the non-moves they made, like, a legit striker would have helped.
Exactly.
In being a little more flexible with testing out new formations. I think they should have gone for Kane. I think I told you plenty of times, pero obviously you want Mbappe. We'll see what happens next summer, pero
I think Liverpool,
or even in winter. We'll see what happens in the winter.
I doubt it.
But it's doubtful, yeah.
It's the Liverpool owners are not. They have this model. I think they have this model that's obviously worked for them before. It's been working because obviously, you know, they won the Champions, they won the Premier League already. So it's a model that's already kind of worked for them.
Right.
And I don't see them, you know,
and they're
spending
not a Chelsea or City,
exactly.
Right?
So or Man United.
Yeah, or United.
You know, just kind of go out and like, okay, how much you want here?
Exactly.
You know, like,
exactly.
They're not that type of team.
Yeah.
I think they're too afraid to kind of mess up, like kind of like because if you bring in and you know Mbappe or you know Kane maybe, like he's gonna want, like obviously one for Kane you would have paid 100 mil or more,
for
which
sure.
I
Especially
doubt,
from another.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're paying another Premier League team, they're gonna
charge. When you say especially a competitor, like a straight competitor, it's like no, you know, obviously Man City wanted him, but you know they couldn't get him at the end. So te van a cobrar casi hasta los calzones. Es que, o sea, primero que nada tienes que pagar un montón.
Right.
Después de ahí, el jugador va a querer, ¿sabes qué? Su pago, su salario va a querer que sea o sea, el mejor pagado. Si vas a traer a alguien así, va a querer ser el mejor pagado.
Right.
Y si lo haces el mejor pagado, entonces Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, Alisson, like the key players te van a decir, oye, pues, ¿qué pasó? O sea, ¿y nosotros qué? O sea, ¿cómo vas a venir a pagarle más a este güey? ¿Y nosotros qué? Nosotros también queremos que nos pagues más. So, creo que también de cierta manera...
In other words, Liverpool has a budget, you know? Like,
and
they're kind of on a...
they're in a budget, or they're, you know, como que no quieren también, si viene este güey, como que a quebrar de cierta manera el vestidor, ¿no? O sea, con todos los otros, o sea, si traes a este güey le vas a pagar más, entonces esos güeyes se van a enojar. Los güeyes que están jugando en el equipo ahorita se van a enojar y van a decir, pues, oye, ¿nosotros qué? Entonces, de cierta manera puedes quebrar el espíritu del equipo o esa química que tiene el equipo al traer un jugador fuera. O sea, te estás arriesgando eso. A lo que yo veo con Liverpool, porque Liverpool, el equipo es como está muy junto, ¿no? O sea, la química entre ellos, o sea, se ve que es un equipo que está junto, que tienen como que, you know, Liverpool's kind of like, you know, and they've said it too, it's like a family club.
Right.
You know, so obviously Man City, it's not a family club. It's like a money club. It's a PSG. Like
it's
a
different. It's a different culture.
Environment. Yeah, different culture.
And I see it, and we'll talk about it in another video. But I see it with Milan, right? It's a similar thing. Like they're not a team. They're historically, what's the word that I'm looking for? A team that wins trophies, pero at the end of the day, they're only going to spend. They're going to have a budget. They're not a Manchester City or even a Juventus, right? But yeah, anyway. So I mean, there you have it. Memo thinks that that Liverpool's gonna finish
first
top
or
of the table.
Second. Yeah. Te lo resumo todo. I mean, we already talked about it, but I guess I can choose it like in some ways.
Yeah.
But I think just for video purposes, just so I can have like a shorter, cleaner video maybe.
Right.
But te lo resumo todo. Want to do the question? Ask me a question again.
Okay.
What's the question again?
So Memo, Premier League has started. Where do you see Liverpool finishing on the table at the end of the season?
Okay. Buena pregunta. Creo que la pregunta del millón.
If your money was on it, okay. Right? That's what I had asked you.
Yeah. If my money's on
Not your heart.
Liverpool, my heart, right? I mean, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, you want them to win the title. Y creo que sí van a competir. Creo que van a competir por el título. Sabemos que la Premier pues se acaba de hacer. Si era si es la liga más atractiva, o sea, regularmente la liga más atractiva, obvio cuando estaba Ronaldo y Messi en la liga se hizo una competencia, ¿no? Pero si ya la Premier League era usualmente la liga más atractiva, ahora se ha hecho la más atractiva, pero también la más competitiva. Creo que es una liga que tiene 4 favoritos.
Right.
Siento que Man City y Chelsea son quizás un poquito más en cuanto, o sea, favoritismo. Creo que son un poquito más o sea, que sean más favoritos a ganar el título. Creo que es Man City y Chelsea. Pero creo que el Liverpool va a competir y creo que el Liverpool va a quedar o primero o segundo. Obvio me gustaría que ganaran el título. But I think they're going to finish first or second. If my money's on the line, I would say first or second. La razón es Man United, creo, si trajeron buenos refuerzos. Trajeron a Ronaldo, trajeron a Sancho, trajeron a Varane. So, they're good signings, great signings. Obvio, el tener a Ronaldo factor, el factor Ronaldo te hace ya un contendiente, ¿no? Un favorito al título.
Adds leadership, adds goal scoring.
Obviously, adds Ronaldo.
It's Ronaldo, yeah.
You know, yeah, Ronaldo. But creo que les va a faltar a lo que es ellos. O sea, Ronaldo pues, estuvo ya en Man United y todo eso, pero no estaba con Ferguson. You know? Creo que a Manchester United, I mean, Ole, Solskjaer, like he's kind of, you know, he's been a coach, right. But I think he's not the coach.
Right. That he's definitely not a Ferguson, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's the coach for this Man United team. Like, I don't see him as that strong of a coach.
Yeah.
I guess.
Unless with Cristiano, he's coming in at the right time to where now Ole can take him to the next level.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, just the reason, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, I don't see Man United winning it for that reason. For, you know, they have great signings, but I think les va a tomar un poquito de tiempo to kind of gel the whole team together. You know, because obviously you bring in 3 new signings, which are great signings, but I think it's going to take some time to, like, put them all together, you know. And then Ole, I see, like, out of the 4 teams, he's, like, kind of, like, the least knowledgeable coach, I guess I could say.
Possibly.
But, you know, it's like Tuchel and Klopp and Guardiola are arguably, or I mean I want to say they're pretty sure better coaches than him. So
I think Pep is slightly overrated, and I've discussed this with you.
So I mean,
but we can get into it in another video.
Exactly. But I mean, his curriculum of all the other 3 are just
they're all great coaches, right? Pero I think Ole maybe like the last year or so since COVID, maybe they finally found the player they needed in Bruno Fernandes, right? Maybe now he's finally going to start maturing as a manager as well. So we'll see.
I mean, he could be, this team could make him the great coach that he probably wants to be. You know, this team could kind of take him to like winning trophies and, you know, do that stuff. But I think this year is probably going to be too soon for that Man United team.
We will see, bro.
We will see, yeah. And como te dije, I wouldn't be surprised if they win it. Like it's an open league. You know, any of those 4 teams, I think is going to win it.
Right.
And anybody can win it. It's an open league. I think it's gonna come down to like their head-to-head games, you know, matches. Right. And then somebody that may be losing some points, you know, here and there, dropping points with like the smaller teams. Those are gonna be kind of like the key moments in the league.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's okay. So Liverpool, I see them finishing above Man United. Chelsea and Man City, I think I see them as the stronger sides because obviously Chelsea ya viene de ganar la Champions League. Man City ha ganado la Premier.
They're so strong.
Como
They're so
4
strong.
de los últimos 5 torneos.
In my opinion, I think they'll drop just because of the whole Guardiola factor that I briefly touched on. Pero yeah, I see Liverpool, Chelsea, and United stronger. Or if there was a graph, on the way up, whereas City's kind of like
I think City's maybe on the way down,
teetering down.
Yeah.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, Guardiola announced he won't be renewing his contract. Right? I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
I thought I read that. I could be wrong. Correct me. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Right. We can check on that. But I think Man City now, with Kun obviously out of the team, I think now they need like a striker. Like that, they needed Kane. If Kane would have showed up, then obviously you kind of put him like, oh shit, the favorites.
Yeah.
Entonces, ahora lo que estamos viendo es que Man City, sí, como dices, no se ve como que es un equipo que ya perdió contra Tottenham, he already lost, points. So you kind of see, like, I think Man City, obviously they're a great team. Guardiola, he's still a great coach. I know he's overrated, and all, like you think he's overrated.
But I make it sound like I hate him or I have something against him, but I think he's slightly overrated at this point in his career. I'm not saying he never was great with Barca, right? And then some of his City years, but he's a good to great coach. I just think at this stage he might be slightly overrated.
Exactly. And we can get more on that, and I can kind of make the comparison that I think Ole could be that coach like Guardiola was like in Barcelona, do that great Barcelona. Obviously that great Barcelona made Pep as a great coach, that he's now renowned and all that stuff.
Right.
So Ole could probably have that luck with this United team, but I don't see this United team as that great Barcelona though. So I think they're completely different teams.
No,
This team is not that Barcelona. But anyway, moving on with Liverpool, I think it's going to be
back to Liverpool.
first or second. And I think it's going to be between Liverpool and Chelsea. I think it's going to be between Liverpool and Chelsea, who are going to, at the end of the last day, I guess, the last jornada.
Bueno.
La última jornada creo que va a ser entre Liverpool y Chelsea. Ojalá sea Liverpool. Pero Chelsea lo veo también, o sea, muy poderoso en cuanto firmaron a Lukaku y a Saúl del Atlético. Entonces, Lukaku, obvio de Inter, temporadón que tuvo con Inter, los hizo campeones casi. Bueno, él, no que él solo, pero fue campeón.
He was an important piece, yeah.
Estuvo con el Inter, o sea, es una pieza muy importante ese título. Sí. Y Saúl también viene de ser campeón en la liga con el Atlético. Entonces...
Chelsea is stacked, man.
Chelsea, si te fijas en su equipo...
too. It's not like they're that... Like, they have a couple, like, savvy vets, pero yeah, like, it's a young team that's only going to grow from here.
Exactly. You got Mason Mount. Obviously, you got Pulisic. You got...
Lukaku's not that old.
Lukaku's... And he's in his prime.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in his prime. Entonces, tienes un buen equipo. Havertz, obviously, who scored in the final, the Champions League final. So, tienes un equipazo. Y tienes un buen entrenador. Entonces, por eso yo creo que Chelsea es de los... Por eso digo, Chelsea creo que si los ves, digamos, si los estás analizando así por encima nomás con el equipo y todo, y cómo vienen, creo que Chelsea y Manchester City a lo mejor son los que más consistentes han mostrado ser. Obvio, la temporada pasada te decía, Liverpool, pues, o sea, con todas las lesiones y todo eso, Van Dijk toda la temporada, Gómez, Matip, o sea, perdieron con eso, se cuenta, aún así terminaron en tercer lugar, y pues, o sea, lo consideras una temporada de cierta manera exitosa, porque lograron calificar a la Champions, lograron mantenerse en la Champions, aún con todas las lesiones que sufrieron. Entonces, ahora el equipo regresa, Van Dijk regresa, Joe Gómez regresa, Matip regresa, Van Dijk y Matip están jugando, and they kept like two out of the two clean sheets already out of 3 games. They play tomorrow. Entonces, creo que Liverpool, la química nomás ha incrementado con este equipo. No han agarrado refuerzos, o Konaté es el único central, también un joven, que puede ser, O sea, puede jugar también una pieza importante cuando se viene ese periodo de enero, de diciembre, enero, cuando, o sea, son muchos los partidos que se juegan. Entonces creo que puede ir para rotar un poco los centrales y no sufrir otras lesiones así como esas, ¿no? Entonces creo que va a ser una temporada, obvio, intensa, competitiva, pero sí creo que con el regreso de Van Dijk, con el regreso de Matip y de Joe Gómez, y teniendo, ojalá, o sea, ya se está viendo que los tres de arriba, los delanteros, ya metieron goles todos en esta temporada, ya han metido goles, entonces se ve que vienen en buena forma. O sea, no se ve que que tienen la mecha apagada y todo eso. Si no se les apaga la mecha a esos tres, creo que pueden. Jota también ha mostrado ya, o sea, ya ha metido gol también. Entonces, los delanteros han mostrado que vienen en buena forma. Todos ya han metido gol. Entonces, yo creo que Liverpool sí va a competir y espero que a fin de cuentas terminen en primer lugar. Si no, creo que sería segundo lugar el donde terminan.
Bueno, pues,
Es que después de todo este rambling, muchísimas gracias.
Which is fine. It's fine. I see your Liverpool passion. It's okay. But yeah, just comment, subscribe, leave a note, mark that notification button. Click on that notification button, and thank you for watching.
And what are your thoughts? A ver, algunos fanáticos de la Premier League, ¿dónde creen que van a terminar sus equipos? ¿Cómo creen que va a terminar la tabla? Díganos en los comentarios. Gracias.
Thank you.